Toyota's most fun car in years, the GR Yaris, is now available in Japan. Along with its release, Toyota has revealed even more about this highly anticipated sports car. But even more exciting, they have insinuated an entire fleet of GR sports cars. And in today's video, we'll discuss the exciting new GR Yaris and also speculate how these performance Toyotas could scale and how they could even impact the Lexus F models as well. Welcome back, Lexurious Fleet. My name is Kirk, and this channel is dedicated to covering the latest in Japanese and Korean auto, so subscribe, hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of my breaking news or reviews. Over at the Toyota Global Press Room, launched new model, the GR Yaris. On September 16th, there's going to be an online event to commemorate the release. That will be at 5:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, and that's typically the time I'm waking up with my kids. So I won't be streaming that, but I will be, if there's any nuggets to take from that, I will definitely let you guys know. If you're new to the GR Yaris, there are some big takeaways here. High-power, newly developed 1.6-liter inline 3-cylinder, intercooled turbo engine, and newly developed sports four-wheel drive system, the GR4. Produces up to 260 horsepower depending on the market it's in, and that will act as the base engine for all future GR models, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. This consists of 3 unique models. Here we go, the RS, which to me stands for slow, the S in slow, which is a sheep in wolf's clothing. This is an M15A FKS. This is the same engine we see in the base Yaris. It has a CVT, direct shift CVT engine in it. Now it's cheap. It's, if I convert that to US dollars, about 25,000 US dollars. It's a really cool looking car, but it has no go to it whatsoever. What you want to start off with is more than likely the RZ. That's the starting road going model. The RC is actually a competition model, and it comes in very inexpensively compared to these road going high performance models, which they're the same performance wise, but this one doesn't even have a radio in it. Like, it's bare bones. But that comes in at about 31,000 US dollars. The RZ comes in at 37 US dollars, and there's a high performance RZ which comes in at a whopping 43,000 US dollars. Now, if these were brought to America, I don't know what those prices would be. I'm just converting the yen. Arguably the most important thing we get out of this today, guys, is that the GR Yaris will newly establish a dedicated line called the GR Factory at the Motomachi plant. Now, you guys are welcome to skim through this page to dive deeper into each package and each model of the GR Yaris, but instead, I'm going to focus on the next piece, which is the GR Factory. And they will be building 1,100 GR Yarises per month at this Motomachi GR Factory. Now, keep in mind, this has to be nearly identical to the rally racing version of it. And for future GR models that are not the GR Yaris, I could see them definitely upping production capacity because it doesn't need to be a racing spec. It just needs to be much better and much more higher performing than the road going cars, which is not hard to do since we know Toyotas are so conservative to start with. And talking about the assembly line here, instead of a general production line, the GR dedicated line GR Factory. Notice they say the GR dedicated line, doesn't say the GR Yaris dedicated line. So this line in Motomachi is specifically designed for GR cars, not necessarily and exclusively to the GR Yaris. Furthermore, the GR Factory will be used as a place for handling down the skills of Takumi by gathering skilled workers from all Toyota companies. That's telling me these are Lexus caliber Toyota employees are Takumi. They're the highest of their, I guess, brethren at the Toyota plants. More than likely, these guys have been there for probably 20 plus years, honing their skills with their experience as well. And Takumi stands for craftsmen, but we know these are master craftsmen. They're not your average employee. So Takumi has their hands all over it. And then they're not focusing on mass production. They're aiming for high mix, low volume production with the maker's will. And the GR Yaris by itself is boldly challenging new ways of manufacturing. Yeah, that car is really special. I don't think we're gonna see anything quite to that level. With subsequent GR models with a carbon fiber roof or fully aluminum doors. That's a possibility though. Maybe not the carbon fiber roof, but I could see the aluminum doors. But it is the first step to having Toyota be exciting again. So I came up with a spreadsheet here, which if you guys are new to my channel, I like to do spreadsheets. The turbo 3-cylinder, the 1.6 liter G16E GTS, which we see in the GR Yaris, has 257 horsepower and 266 pound-feet of torque with a whopping 160 horsepower per liter, or really close to that. We see this in the GR Yaris. We're going to see this in the GR Corolla. That is a model that's coming to the United States. If you missed my video, gosh, was it just yesterday, about the GR Corolla leaks, as well as this GR CHR that you see on this list, that's going to be happening too. However, the GR CHR is probably going to be for Europe and Japan. I really think the GR Corolla is probably going to be a global product. Anywhere that Corolla sells well, I could see the GR Corolla making it there, as long as the economy and affluence is there to support it. But I do think it's definitely coming to most countries that get the Corolla, where the GR Yaris, definitely a Europe and Japan sort of vehicle. Maybe other parts of Asia, maybe Singapore, something like that. And then how we could see it into the Lexus lineup, it would be a perfect fit to put this engine, this four-wheel drive system, into a Lexus UX. They would have to throw in the UX into this assembly line. Now, the question remains is, with this Motomachi GR assembly line, can they do multiple models at once? I have no idea. I don't know. And they could always expand it, of course. So since it is, the Lexus UX is based off of the CHR getting the GR treatment, I don't see why the UX couldn't be put down that same assembly line. Different body panels, of course, but get that same four-wheel drive system that the GR CHR is getting. Fingers crossed, guys. And this is all speculation on my part. Take it with a grain of salt. I could be wrong, but with the fact Toyota is committed to bringing non-boring cars anymore. Heck, guys, we have a TRD Avalon, for crying out loud, and a Camry on top of that. So they are committed to it, and the GR Yaris, they can't stop talking about it. Toyota can't stop talking about a hot hatch, a GR hot hatch coming to America with their tweets. So yeah, it's gonna come. They are gonna expand the lineup. It will be fun to see how many models come, and that's what the spreadsheet's about, is speculating. So this 1.6 liter, I really only see it hitting these models here. I can't see it in any other Lexus or Toyota model because of the displacement and how small the engine is. And I have a feeling that only with these models we would see a manual transmission. Maybe not on the Lexus. Dear God, I would hope so. People have been clamoring for a manual transmission on Lexus for almost a decade now. But it would be cool to see. Next on the list is this rumored 2.4 liter turbo that we are expecting in the next generation of the Lexus NX, expected to be next fall, so about a year from now. I don't know the name of it yet, but this is my guess on the code name. It's rumored to have 300 horsepower and a little bit more pound-feet of torque, which is a much lower horsepower per liter. I could see the Camry and Highlander ditching their V6s in the future for this turbo four-cylinder. We know the Lexus NX, I just talked about that getting it. Lexus ES dropping the V6 potentially one day. The Lexus IS, of course, getting this. That would be a very smart choice for them. And maybe a base version of the RX getting this as well, as they drop the V6 as well sometime in the future. I could see this engine getting the GR treatment with a much higher horsepower per liter, a higher power output version of it. And let's say it gets 360 horsepower, 375 pound-feet of torque. And we would see this in the IS F Sport, maybe a GR RAV4. The GR RAV4 would make a lot of sense. They sell more RAV4s than any other vehicle, at least here in the United States. It's probably the best-selling global car as well, the RAV4. They need to have as many variants as they can of that car. Having a GR RAV4 with 360 horsepower, and why would the GR RAV4 get this but not the detuned, the 300 horsepower variant of it? Because it has the plug-in hybrid that already offers that amount of horsepower. So having a GR RAV4, and my guess it would be an automatic transmission at this point, since we're getting away from the smaller, more sporty vehicles. Even though this would be lowered, it would have cool body effects. I could see the GR Camry getting it, and yes, it would also need to have that all-wheel drive system. I feel like that is integral to them being able to put down all this power. But we could also see in a Lexus ESF, a Lexus NXF, with this higher output version. So it'd be very, very interesting to see if they have two different versions of it. And I hope so. Fingers crossed. We'd love to have a GR version of the RAV4, of the Camry, and then higher output models of the Lexus lineup as well. Now, we have a twin turbo V6 in the Lexus lineup in the LS 500. And this is the V35A FTS. It has 416 horsepower and 442 pound-feet of torque. Now, it's also rumored to be a staple for the upcoming Land Cruiser, Tundra, and Sequoia, and I could see it being the base engine for the upcoming LQ500. But if they're going to have a higher output version of this Turbo 4, I'd love to see a higher output version in the Lexus lineup as well. Now, I think we're done with the GR models at this point. I know I've talked a lot about the GRs at this point, but Toyota and Lexus, same company. What GR is to Toyota is what F is for Lexus. So it's hard to have one without the other at this point now that GR exists. So they could have a higher output version of this twin turbo V6. And I could see that being in the Tundra to compete with the higher F-150s, things like that. And that could be producing up to 500 horsepower and 533 pound-feet of torque. Now, I could see it definitely lining up the Lexus lineup. The LC500 gets turned into an LC600, LX600, LS600, LQ600, and then the ISF would be a perfect candidate for this high power output twin turbo V6 with 500 horsepower and over 500 pound-feet of torque. That would be an excellent replacement for the 2UR GSE, which is, who knows how much longer we're going to see that engine. It is one of the best sounding engines and things you can buy on the market right now, that glorious V8 snarl. But unfortunately, we know V8s are dying in the lower price tiers for Lexus cars. Now, what about a turbo V6 plug-in hybrid? Call me crazy here, but I could see this being in a higher output Tundra, LX, LS, LQ, and it could have 620 horsepower. The first time I thought of this setup was when I came up with that Tundra video and I listed all the hybrid options and all the turbo options, and then they combine it with a plug-in hybrid turbo. It's possible that you get 50% more horsepower from twin turboing that V6 and adding the plug-in hybrid option on top of that. So 620 horsepower, that would be pretty incredible to see. Now, we could also get the turbo V8. Now, I don't know what to believe anymore with this twin turbo V8. One week, it sounds like it's discontinued. The next week, like last week, we got a huge leak of F cars for Lexus. And it could be tons of, it just could be all grain. Take that all with a grain of salt. But yeah, the last rumor I heard is that the V8 is back on the menu. So this would be my guess. It would be called V40A GTS, 640 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque, and we'd see it in the LCF, LQF, LSF, and LXF. Now, if they add a plug-in hybrid variant to it, you guys, we could see almost 1,000 horsepower. And I don't know what kind of car they would put it in. Maybe they call it the Lexus F Black line, like you have the Mercedes AMG Blacks and things like that. I really have no idea, but anything is possible with electrification. And I feel like this would be Lexus's last hard push. This would be the upcoming decade until 2030, where everything is pretty much electrified after that. Unless there's some massive battery breakthrough that happens before 2030, I just don't see switching over that much. I'd see their initial electric cars, which we'll see in the next few years, to be sensible cars, not crazy breakneck speed, but focusing mostly on a luxurious, quiet, smooth, and a good performing car, but nothing crazy like we're seeing with these plug-in hybrids or these twin turbo engine options. And guys, I hope I'm right in some of these regards, and I'd love to be wrong as well, because that means they have something exciting that I haven't thought of yet. And what do you guys think in the comments? How crazy am I to come up with this list? Are these numbers anywhere close to what we could see? Do you think we'll see a GR Corolla? Well, that's almost guaranteed at this point. A GR CHR, and do you think they could expand that lineup into a GR RAV4, a GR Camry as well? Chances are good. Volume will be low, but that's going to drive up long-term, I guess, worth of these vehicles. They're technically collector's cars at this point, just based off the low volume that we're going to be seeing out of them, unless they're able to expand the Motomachi plant's GR line. So And then also when it comes to the Lexus F line, never giving up hope on the Fs, guys. Not effing doing it. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't hit the like button, you've made it this far, go ahead and do that. That really helps out my channel. And if you want to support the channel even more, you can head over to my Teespring store, get mugs, face masks, and then if you want to support even further, you can click the join button and get emojis and badges and exclusive content. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And yeah, in the comments, it's going to be fun down there. Take care of yourselves. Peace out and peace out.